In this video, we will tell you about several fatal mistakes with bananas that can cause serious illnesses, from diabetes and heart attacks to serious liver and kidney disorders, and sometimes even become life-threatening. You'll be surprised to learn how simple mistakes, from improper selection, preparation, consumption, to improper storage, can turn into real risks. Watch the video to the end to avoid these hidden dangers and keep yourself healthy. This video will be extremely informative and helpful. So, if you want to become a master of your health, click like, and let's get started. Let's start with the fatal mistakes when choosing and buying bananas. Choosing bananas is not just a choice for flavor or texture, but a decision that directly affects your health. Conventional bananas, like most non-organic fruits, are heavily treated with pesticides to extend shelf life and maintain marketability. These chemicals penetrate the peel and can remain on the surface even after washing. According to the FDA, about 80% of non-organic bananas contain traces of these pesticides. When consumed regularly, these toxins build up in the body, posing a serious threat to the liver, which has to process and neutralize these foreign substances. Some of these pesticides have carcinogenic properties, which can increase the risk of liver cancer and other cancers. Replacing conventional bananas with organic bananas is an important step, as research from the U.S. National Institutes of Health confirms that organic fruit is 60% lower in toxic substances, significantly reducing the overall burden on the body. Organic bananas are safer, more flavorful, and support organic farming practices, helping to protect both your health and the environment. The degree of ripeness of bananas is another significant factor that many people underestimate. Green bananas, often popular with those watching calories, contain resistant starch, a substance that is difficult for the body to digest. According to the Harvard School of Public Health, green bananas have up to 60% of their starch that remains unchanged until the fruit is fully ripe. This starch not only slows digestion, but also causes bloating and gas, especially in people with sensitive GI tracts. Such discomfort can develop into chronic problems with regular consumption. Moreover, green bananas contain fewer antioxidants that protect cells from damage and inflammation. Ripe bananas with yellowish peels and small brown spots are the ideal choice for those who want to maximize the benefits. They are rich in antioxidants and easy to digest, keeping you healthy and digesting comfortably. It is also important to pay attention to the appearance of the banana. The peel of the fruit is a natural barrier that protects it from bacteria and mold. But if it is damaged, it opens access for pathogens that can penetrate and multiply. Such fruits become an ideal environment for bacteria, which can lead to serious food poisoning. The liver and kidneys, which are responsible for eliminating toxins, are working hard. The CDC warns that eating foods with mold and bacteria can cause severe food infections that may require medical attention. To avoid these risks, choose bananas with intact, smooth peels. This will allow you to enjoy their flavor and avoid health hazards. When buying bananas, be sure to pay attention to the condition of the peel. It is a natural barrier against harmful bacteria and fungi, which protects the flesh of the fruit from external influences. But if the peel is damaged, cracked, dented, or torn, this protective layer becomes ineffective. Through the smallest holes inside penetrate dangerous microorganisms that begin to multiply in the sweet and soft environment of the fruit. Such bananas become an ideal incubator zone for bacteria and mold, and eating them can lead to serious poisoning. The U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, CDC, notes that about 30% of food poisoning cases are caused by eating fruits and vegetables with damaged peels. The liver and kidneys, which filter toxins, can be affected as they are overworked, trying to clear infections from the body. To protect your health, choose bananas with whole and smooth peels, avoiding fruits with visible damage. This approach will reduce the risk of bacteria entering your body and make your diet safer. Next, opting for organic bananas is a conscious decision that can significantly reduce the chemical load on your body. Pesticides that are used in conventional agriculture to protect crops from pests and diseases can remain on the surface of the peel and even penetrate the flesh of the fruit. When these bananas are consumed regularly, traces of the chemicals accumulate in the body, which over time creates serious health risks, including liver and kidney damage. Studies conducted by scientists at Johns Hopkins University have shown that people who prefer organic produce have 20% lower levels of toxic substances in their blood than those who regularly consume foods treated with chemicals. Switching to organic bananas helps reduce exposure to these harmful substances and lower the risk of toxins accumulating in the body. By choosing organic bananas, you're not only taking care of your own health, but you're also supporting sustainable growing practices that preserve the environment. By the way, grateful people who put likes live longer on average by 7 to 10 years compared to indifferent or haters. Read the study in the description below the video. Next, let's take a look at the fatal mistakes of preparing and using bananas. Combining bananas with milk seems like the perfect choice for a quick and nutritious snack, but this popular duo can turn out to have unexpected problems for the body. While both bananas and milk individually have many health benefits, combining them puts a heavy strain on the digestive system. Different digestion times of these products lead to the fact that bananas begin to ferment in the stomach, causing discomfort, bloating, and even pain. This is especially noticeable for people with sensitive digestion. The U.S. National Institutes of Health notes that the consumption of difficult-to-digest combinations can provoke inflammatory processes in the pancreas and contribute to the development of gastritis. If you still don't want to give up your favorite smoothie, replace milk with lighter ingredients such as almond, coconut, or oat milk. This will help reduce the strain on your stomach and keep the flavor pleasant, and the drink will be easier on your body. Adding sugar to banana dishes is a habit that seems harmless at first glance, but can cause serious health problems. Although bananas themselves have a natural sweetness, many desserts and baked goods add even more sugar to them, which dramatically increases the calorie and carbohydrate load on the body. The pancreas, forced to process the extra sugar, becomes overloaded and blood glucose levels jump, creating spikes that can lead to insulin resistance and diabetes. According to the Harvard School of Public Health, long-term consumption of foods with added sugar increases the risk of diabetes by 23%, which is serious. To protect your health, it's best to minimize the sugar in banana dishes. Bananas will provide the dish with the necessary sweetness, and to enhance the flavor, you can use natural alternatives, honey or stevia, which do not cause sugar spikes and allow you to enjoy dessert without risk to the pancreas. Cooking banana desserts with an abundance of fats attracts a rich and delicate flavor, but can turn out to have serious consequences for the liver and cardiovascular system. Saturated fats, such as butter or heavy cream added to desserts, increase cholesterol levels and put a strain on the liver, which is forced to process excessive amounts of fat. This leads to a buildup of bad cholesterol in the blood and increases the risk of heart disease. The American Heart Association emphasizes that regular consumption of saturated fat increases the likelihood of heart disease. To reduce risks, it's best to choose lighter alternatives, such as coconut oil, which is rich in healthy fatty acids, or Greek yogurt for a creamy texture. These substitutions will help reduce calories and reduce the load on your body while maintaining flavor and making the dessert healthier. Overusing overripe bananas in desserts can seem like a harmless habit. Their intense sweetness and softness make them ideal for baked goods, cakes, and smoothies. But this tempting simplicity hides real health risks. Overripe bananas contain high concentrations of sugars, which, when ingested, cause blood glucose levels to spike. For the pancreas, these spikes become a constant stress. It is forced to produce more insulin to stabilize sugar levels. The American Diabetes Association confirms that regular glucose spikes significantly increase the risk of developing diabetes and other metabolic diseases. To enjoy banana desserts without jeopardizing your health, Try to moderate overripe bananas by combining them with foods rich in fiber and protein, oatmeal, nuts, or seeds. Fiber slows the absorption of sugar, softening its effect on the pancreas and keeping glucose levels stable, making desserts safer and healthier. Adding bananas to recipes with saturated fats, such as butter or heavy cream, gives desserts a soft and rich flavor, but can be seriously detrimental to health if consumed regularly. Saturated fats increase the level of bad cholesterol in the blood, stressing the cardiovascular system and increasing the risk of cholesterol plaques forming in the blood vessels. The American Heart Association points out that high saturated fat consumption is directly linked to increased risk of heart disease and obesity. Instead of heavy fats, it is better to use healthy alternatives such as coconut oil or olive oil, which are lighter and safer for the body, or reduce the total amount of fat in a recipe. You can also add natural products such as Greek yogurt, which will give the dessert a softer texture while maintaining its flavor, but reducing calories and health risks. This approach to making banana desserts will help preserve flavor, reduce the chance of heart problems, and keep your body healthy. Now let's look at the fatal mistakes of banana consumption. Excessive consumption of bananas, at first glance, seems to be a harmless habit. After all, it is a fruit rich in vitamins, minerals, and fiber. However, even useful products in excess can be harmful to the body. Bananas are rich in potassium, which, while necessary for health, can overload the kidneys, especially in people with weakened kidney function. When the kidneys can't handle the excretion of excess potassium, it can lead to a dangerous condition known as hyperkalemia. Hyperkalemia, in turn, causes malfunctions in heart rhythm, which can be life-threatening. In addition, bananas are high in natural sugars, which puts extra strain on the pancreas, which has to process the incoming sugar. According to the American Heart Association, limiting banana consumption to 1 or 2 fruits per day is recommended to avoid these risks. Including other fruits and vegetables in your diet will provide variety and help prevent the accumulation of excess micronutrients, maintaining a healthy balance. Consuming bananas on an empty stomach is a popular habit because they are so convenient and easy. However, in reality, their high level of natural sugars can cause insulin levels to spike immediately after a meal. This puts a lot of strain on the pancreas, especially if this breakfast becomes a regular occurrence. Constant sugar spikes can cause hyperglycemia and eventually lead to insulin resistance, a condition that greatly increases the risk of diabetes. To avoid these effects, bananas are best consumed in combination with protein foods or healthy fats such as nuts or Greek yogurt. These components slow down the absorption of sugar, keeping energy levels stable and helping the body regulate blood sugar levels more smoothly. Such a breakfast will not only be hearty, but also much healthier. For people with kidney failure, overeating bananas can be a serious threat that requires special attention. Potassium, so beneficial to most, is a real danger for these people. The kidneys, working in a weakened mode, cannot cope with its excretion, and excess potassium remains in the blood, creating the danger of hyperkalemia. This condition leads to arrhythmia, a serious heart rhythm disorder that can be life-threatening. The American Society of Nephrology emphasizes that people with kidney failure have a particularly high risk of these effects. To avoid these complications, people with kidney disease are advised to consult a doctor before adding bananas to their diet. In some cases, doctors may even recommend eliminating bananas from the diet completely or significantly limiting their quantity to prevent dangerous conditions. Consuming bananas before a workout may seem like the perfect solution for quick energy, but this popular snack doesn't always produce the desired results. Bananas, which are rich in carbohydrates, do provide the body with energy, but when consumed right before exercise, they can cause a feeling of heaviness or irritation in the stomach. For some people, this becomes a real discomfort, distracting them from exercise and reducing their productivity. Research by the American College of Sports Medicine confirms that food before exercise must have time to digest. Otherwise, the body will spend energy on digestion rather than exercise. To avoid discomfort, it is better to eat a banana 30 to 40 minutes before exercise. This time allows the body to process the carbohydrates and assimilate the nutrients, keeping you in training without putting too much strain on your stomach. Snacking on bananas before bed, while mild and sweet in flavor, may not be the best choice either. These fruits are high in carbohydrates and natural sugars, which can cause a sudden burst of energy, definitely not what you need before falling asleep. For people who are prone to difficulty sleeping, this sugar rise can seriously interfere with relaxation and disrupt the natural process of falling asleep. Research from Harvard School of Medicine suggests that evening snacking is better built around foods rich in tryptophan and magnesium, such as nuts or milk, which promote relaxation and put the body into a restful state. These choices will not only support your habits, but will also improve the quality of your sleep, allowing you to wake up rested and full of energy. Regular consumption of overripe bananas is appealing for their sweetness and soft texture, but carries certain dangers. Overripe bananas contain more sugar, which can lead to addiction, especially if they appear frequently in the diet. The constant spikes in blood glucose caused by the high sugar content seriously stresses the pancreas, which is forced to work at full capacity. The American Diabetes Association warns that regular consumption of sugar in excess can significantly increase the risk of diabetes and other metabolic disorders. To avoid such risks, it is better to alternate bananas with other fruits and choose fruits of medium maturity. This will keep sugar levels normal and reduce the load on the pancreas without depriving yourself of the pleasure of your favorite fruit. Combining bananas with calorie-dense foods often seems safe, but imperceptibly leads to overeating. Bananas are used in a variety of dishes, from smoothies to baked goods, and when combined with other carbohydrates and fats, can significantly increase calories. This leads to weight gain and puts excess strain on the heart and blood vessels, which can trigger cardiovascular disease over time. Even a healthy product like a banana requires consideration of total calories to avoid negative consequences. The best solution is to use bananas as a standalone snack between meals or add them to light meals such as smoothies with vegetables or oatmeal. This allows you to enjoy the benefits of bananas without harming your figure or health. And finally, let's take a look at common banana storage mistakes. Storing bananas in plastic bags may look like a simple mistake, but in reality, it can be a real hazard. In a locked space, bananas release large amounts of ethylene, which provokes rapid ripening and consequently rapid rotting. Overripe and rotting bananas are the perfect environment for mold and pathogenic bacteria such as Salmonella and Listeria. Consuming contaminated bananas can cause serious food poisoning, which is especially dangerous for immunocompromised people, children, and the elderly. The CDC reminds us that such poisonings can lead to hospitalization and, in some cases, even become life-threatening. The best solution is to store bananas outdoors, allowing ethylene to volatilize freely, and use food wrap to wrap the stems to slightly slow ripening. Storing bananas near other fruits can also cause serious problems. The ethylene emitted by bananas causes accelerated ripening and spoilage not only of the bananas themselves, but also of other produce, which begins to rot and become a breeding ground for pathogenic microbes and fungi. In closed spaces, such as a refrigerator, this process goes even faster, turning the fruit basket into a potential source of infection. The bacteria and mold that develops in spoiled fruit can contaminate other produce as well, creating a risk of contamination. To avoid this fatal mistake, it is recommended to store bananas and other fruits separately, preventing cross-exposure. Many people believe that the cold in the refrigerator will keep bananas fresh, but this misconception can cause you to lose not only the flavor, but also the health benefits of bananas. In low temperatures, bananas lose their nutritional value, and their peels develop dark spots. Plus, refrigeration changes the texture and flavor, making bananas less enjoyable and healthy to consume. But more seriously, bananas lose vitamin C and antioxidants, which play an important role in protecting cells from oxidative stress when stored in the refrigerator for long periods of time. This can be fatal for those who rely on bananas as a source of essential vitamins. The best way to preserve these valuable properties is to store bananas at room temperature. Improperly freezing bananas is another mistake that can turn out to be not only a loss of flavor, but also of nutritional value. Freezing bananas in poor quality bags or containers where they come in contact with air leads to dehydration and loss of valuable vitamins such as vitamin B6, as well as potassium, an important mineral for the cardiovascular system. If such bananas are defrosted, especially when refrozen, there is a risk of mold and bacteria growth, which can lead to serious infections and food poisoning if eaten. If you know any other bugs, post them in the comments. We'd all really benefit from knowing them. Watch these videos next, and I look forward to your likes and comments.